Hi everybody and welcome again to another Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. Sam, happy to see you.
Yeah, always a pleasure.
Let's talk about sports at CHS right off the bat here. And it's going to be a rough week with the weather and everything. And I can see Brent Duncan now pulling his hair out trying to reschedule all these contests.
When we talked to him last week, he was afraid of that. And it's got to be a tough job. It's cold weather. Of course, this past Saturday we had snow here and wind, and we're taping this here on Monday, and temperatures really dropped since I went to work at 6 o'clock this morning.
Yes, it has a big drop. Today, in fact, the softball is scheduled at Newcastle, and the baseball opening at Union County. Hopefully they are getting those games in. Tomorrow will be a Tuesday. Softball will be home to East Central, and it'll be a 5 o'clock first pitch time. The baseball is home to Richmond at 6, and the girls' tennis will be home to Greensburg at 5:30. So a lot of action at Connersville Tuesday.
Yeah, you go out there and make the rounds and take them all in. A lot going on, and it won't be cold forever. And kids are tough, and I'm sure that the coaches will have them dressed for it.
Wednesday is an open day. On Thursday, the softball will be home to Greenfield Central at 5:30, and the baseball is home to Batesville also at 5:30. On Thursday, the girls' tennis will be at Batesville, and the track and field teams will be meeting Centerville here at 5 o'clock. So that'll be, I think that's the first outdoor track meet. They've had some indoor things, but this one will be their first outdoor. And Friday is just one event. The girls' tennis will be home to Shenandoah at 5 o'clock. Saturday's a pretty busy day. The boys' golf opens at Yorktown. That's an invitational. The softball will be home to Union County in a doubleheader starting at 10 o'clock in the morning. And the baseball will be home to Greensburg in a doubleheader, also with a 10 o'clock starting time. And the track and field, there'll be an action against Greensburg. That will be here at Connersville. So there are a lot of events, but boy, if the weather guys are right, it's going to be tough to get those in.
It sure will be, especially if it's wet and rainy. If it's just cold, I think they can play. And,
sure.
But it really makes it tough. I know that years ago, being down at the Babe Ruth Field when it was cold and rainy, it can be pretty miserble.
That makes you want to be inside with round ball, right?
Yes, it does.
Right. Speaking of round ball, there's something going on tonight in the great city of Houston, NC2A men's finals. It will be Villanova, maybe a surprise, I don't know, against North Carolina. But Villanova, if their threes are dropping like they did Saturday,
shot in the low 70s, and so I think the second highest shooting percentage. And
it's amazing.
It is, and hopefully they got some gas left in their tank. Now I don't want to offend any of the North Carolina fans, but I wonder why North Carolina is even playing in the tournament this year when they're going to be under investigation this summer.
It does make you wonder.
It kind of makes you wonder.
It makes you wonder what is going on. North Carolina, the Tar Heels, located at Chapel Hill, 30,000 some students. Villanova, the Wildcats are near Philadelphia, and they have about 10,000 students. So it's the big guy against the little guy, I guess.
No class basketball with the NCAA. At least the small schools can compete in Division I if they choose to. And of course, Villanova, a member of the Big East, as is Butler here in Indiana.
And yes, they play during the season.
And they play it, and I think Butler was fairly competitive with them this year. So wish the Wildcats well. I will. And the other thing, Fran, that for those of us that have to get up early to go to work, that game doesn't start until like 9:17.
You're right.
And it makes it kind of tough. Now the people live on the West Coast. I guess it's
6 o'clock out there. That's great.
Good for them. But
well, I'm like you. Villanova, they won last in 1985. North Carolina last won in 2009. Wonder if people remember who won last year. It was 5-pointer, I think. Duke over Wisconsin, 68-63.
I like to forget about that. But, not a Duke fan either. I guess I'm not really an ACC fan. But, ACC this year, of course, had a lot of teams left, but thought the way that the pairings were, that it favored the ACC teams.
Yes, it did.
The way that they were spread out. It seemed like the Big Ten that didn't do as well, they were grouped together more closely in brackets in the brackets where ACC was spread out throughout the brackets into different regionals.
I don't know how that works. I have no idea how those people...
I don't think anyone does, and I think those committees, people that are no longer on it, must be sworn to secrecy somehow.
It could be, yeah, nobody's written a book, have they? Which is kind of unusual. But I know you're a fan of girls basketball. You're a great coverage of Lady Spartans. What about the NCAA women's?
Well, being played at Bankers Life Fieldhouse, and they played yesterday. I had a couple of games yesterday, and of course Connecticut, they are so dominating.
You think they'll score 1,000 points?
Well, they might. They might. And Syracuse for the national championship, and I believe that's tomorrow night.
It is, yes. It's Tuesday night, right.
That's a good thing for downtown Indianapolis.
Oh, sure.
And good for our state to be able to host that. Now, I noticed on the floor that I was watching some of those games yesterday, that evidently they played D1, D2, and D3 all there at Bankers Life, because the floor was marked that way. It said something down the side, Indy, and then it said D1, D2, D3. So I haven't confirmed that, but I would assume that's what that meant.
Yes, that's interesting. I don't know. I haven't heard any report on that, Sam. But so, are you as interested in college basketball as you are in high school?
I can be, but I prefer high school.
Yes.
You're closer. You're closer to it. It's a lot less expensive if you want to take your family and go to the games. It's fun. It's fun to watch college basketball, and yes, I'm a big college basketball fan, but I don't get to go very much. It's been years since I used to go down and watch IU play, but with the broadcast schedule that I carry, now that over the years since we carry all the girls' games and boys' games on KMIX, that limits my time to be able to go take in a college game. When Matt Howard was playing at Butler, I went several times there on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon.
Yes.
And when I didn't have a high school game scheduled, and it really makes it fun when you know somebody on the team.
Oh, sure.
It was Butler, and then back when April McDivitt was playing at Tennessee, I went down on a bus several times to see her play, and went to Lexington one time when they were playing Kentucky. And so that part of it is fun when you know somebody and it's a hometown kid playing.
Yes, right. As you say, if you're connected to it somehow.
And up at Hinkle Fieldhouse, I feel like you're really close to the action there if you can sit down in the lower area, and it just makes it a lot of fun. After the game, you can walk out onto the court and be out there where all the legends have played.
That's a great place, isn't it?
It is. And you remember back when semi-state was held there, and at one time prior to that, state finals were held there, and
they were held there until '72 when we won. We were the first year at Bloomington at Assembly Hall.
And just to be able to go there, I've been able to broadcast a couple games from there, as have you. Back you had the '72 state championship call from Hinkle Fieldhouse, but you think about all the people and that's the original floor there, and you think about all the greats through high school and the great players that Butler's had that have been on that floor. We were up there, it was Matt Howard's senior year, and went out on the floor afterwards, and my good friend Jim Crone, who's an Indiana All-Star from Connersville, I was had seen him there. We went out on the floor, and he said, "Now, I took a shot from this spot," and you know, just the memories that people that had the opportunity to play there, and you know, it was fun talking to him and hearing those stories.
It's a historic building, and that's where Milan beat Muncie Central for the championship. That everybody keeps talking about.
Right. And the movie Hoosiers filmed there, the championship portion of that, and I think I saw where there's some kind of reunion for that coming up.
Rushville's having that. Yes.
Yes.
They're as a kind of a fundraiser because they want to restore a theater downtown and turn it into a city hall, one part of it, and some other uses that they are planning. So that's a great thing. And
it's a good idea and opportunity to. And I'd seen that in the News Examiner last week. Should have cut that out when that is coming up real soon.
Yes, it is. I think it is.
Some of the Milan players are going to be there, and they invited the people from Connersville. They talked about in '53, Connersville, I believe, stopped Milan.
We did. Yeah, sure did. And the regional played at Rushville. Yes.
And at that time, Memorial Gym was the finest facility around, and one of the bigger ones at seating about 2,500. And it's still a nice place after all these years. I think it's the second or third oldest still in use.
They've taken very good care of it, and that's important. That's
so
important.
I would encourage people to find out a little more about that and go over and support them at our friends in Rush County. And I don't say that too often, but they're trying to save an old building downtown and put it to good use. And it's an opportunity to see some basketball legends from back in the 50s.
I have a couple of guys coming from the Milan team. Of course, some have passed away, but a couple I think have committed to come and help out. So that'll be. I think they're going to show the movie too. I believe I saw that someplace.
Yeah, because the building, it's the old Princess Theater downtown, just south the railroad tracks there on Main Street. So that's a neat thing.
Speaking of Matt Howard, the Pacers could use a little help. Maybe a lot of help.
Maybe a lot of help.
A lot of help. I feel for those, but they're not having a good year, and I think their coach is on the fence.
It could be.
I think, which is not good, but. You know, in sports, when something goes haywire, the first to go is
the coach. So.
That's right.
and the coach never takes a shot, and never makes a pass.
That's right. That's right. But I don't think they'll go very far in the playoffs this year.
No.
Which is unfortunate. They have a great facility to play in, and they've had some good teams, but I keep looking at them and I think, gosh, if you guys would play together like the Spartans did, you know, I think you would be a lot better off.
Well, what they need is a Reggie Miller type player. I really liked the Pacers and followed them when Reggie was on the team because he played like he was still in college. And,
yes, he did.
And where every game mattered, and it wasn't just the last 5 minutes of the game that mattered, that he played hard from start to finish, and I think that carried over to his teammates and why they were pretty successful. You know, they never won a championship, but they were in the playoffs and went far several times.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And I don't know, Larry Bird is the big chief up there, I think, isn't he? And then Donnie Wilson, isn't he back as general manager or whatever? I'm not sure the setup.
I'm not sure either, but I think Larry is president of basketball operations or something to that effect.
Something like that, yes.
You know, and being a great player doesn't always translate over into those type of jobs, management. But although I think the 3 years that he coached, I thought he was a decent coach.
Yes, I think you're. I agree. Yes, but I think there'll be some changes made up there during the off season and everything. I know here on TV3 we've been advertising for the park department, but we might want to mention that this Friday is the deadline for the T-ball sign-ups. They're for youngsters from 3 to 6. It's $25, and you can find out more by going to the park, to the Miller Building is where they sign up, and the girls wanting to play softball can sign up through this Friday. Ages for that program are 6 to 18. The cost is also $25. So they're getting ready for the summer activities up at Roberts Park, and we want to mention that for the parents that would like to maybe sign their youngsters up for some of those.
It's a lot of fun for the kids, a lot of fun for the parents and the grandparents.
Sure.
I really enjoyed my time spent down at Babe Ruth Field, and you know, with the problems that we have with flooding and all that, it's still there's still a lot of fun to be had there, and for the most part, most of the season, those fields are in pretty good shape and are very well maintained.
Yeah, we try. TV3 tries to do some coverage of the games down there, and I've had people from other cities tell me that we wish we had something like this. So it's not really that, but like you said, when it does flood, it's not good, but when it doesn't, it's a very nice facility.
Nicely laid out,
yes,
and taken care of, and you know, a lot of during the World Series years,
yes,
there was a lot of money put in that down there to improve things, and that Senior League field is very nice, as are the others. But
yes,
good place to go watch a game.
It is. It's and the World Series kind of put us on the map and everything. I know they're looking for the new facility, which will be very nice, I'm sure, when they get it done. And I hope that they can use some of the equipment and facilities that are there at the old park. Maybe they can take them to the new field and everything. But it's a nice place for us.
It is.
And our youngsters, I think, enjoy playing there. We might talk a little bit about the baseball and softball here, that the Spartans are just starting. As I mentioned, they're beginning Spartan baseballs at Union County, and they'll have Richmond here at 6 o'clock on Tuesday, and Batesville at 5:30 on Thursday, and then that doubleheader with Greensburg at 10 o'clock on Saturday morning. And then, Sam, they play those games, and they play 9 straight away games. And they don't come back to Connersville and play until Greenfield Central on May the 3rd.
Isn't that something, how that scheduling works out?
It is.
But, and they play a lot of games in a short period of time.
Yes, they do. They play 9 home games, 12 away before the tournament begins. But that was really an unusual schedule to have that way, many away games. So the team buses will be rolling
Yes,
this.
they will.
And then the away games, by the way, will be at East Central, Newcastle, Rushville, Batesville, Anderson, Centerville, New Palestine, Lawrenceburg, and Shelbyville. Then they come home to meet Greenfield Central on May the 3rd. Then on the 4th, they'll go to Pendleton Heights. They play Franklin County in a doubleheader here on a Saturday, May the 7th, starting at 10 in the morning. They'll go to Fortville, play at Fortville, and Mount Vernon School, of course, at Fortville. And that's on the 9th of May. On the 10th, they meet East Central here in a game at 5:30. On the 14th of May, they will be meeting South Dearborn here in the doubleheader. And on the 16th, they meet Yorktown here, and they close the season with Hauser on the 20th. And the tournaments begin on May 26th for the baseball team. So no, they have high hopes because they have a lot of returning guys. They won the conference last year. So we wish those guys the best of luck.
We certainly do. And I wonder how that works when they have double headers against conference opponents. I heard you talk about a double header there, I believe, against South Dearborn, and how that counts in the conference standings.
I don't know if it's like in basketball where they play more than once a year, only one of the games counts.
Could be.
Could be. I'm not sure how that works or anything. In softball, those girls play 11 home and 11 away. They're as we mentioned, at Newcastle in a game scheduled for today. Tomorrow, East Central comes here to Spartan Field. And on the 7th, Thursday, Greenfield Central will be here, and Union County in a doubleheader on Saturday on the 9th. Then they'll go to Rushville and to Richmond. On the 11th, they'll be at Rushville. On the 14th, they'll be at Richmond. South Dearborn will be the opponent in a doubleheader here, and that'll be at 10 o'clock on the 16th of April. They play Batesville here on the 18th. They go to Shelbyville on the 19th, to Lawrenceburg on the 23rd, to Batesville on the 26th, home to Mooresville on the 27th of April at 5:30, and Greensburg in a doubleheader at 11 o'clock on April the 30th. May the 3rd, they'll be at Pendleton Heights. On the 6th at Jennings County. On the 9th of May at East Central, home to Cambridge City on the 12th. On the 13th, they're home to New Palestine. They go to Knightstown on the 14th. Morristown comes here on the 17th, and on May 18th, they close the season with a game at Rushville, a game with Rushville here, and then their sectional starts on the 23rd. So it'll be here before you know it.
It sure will. And listening to all those dates back to back to back, I think if you were a player, that would be a good thing, because you don't have to practice in between. You just go play the next day.
That's right. It's a good point, yeah.
Our producer, John, has handed me a flyer here, what we were talking about earlier about the movie Hoosiers. Says the 30th anniversary of Hoosiers and the 90th anniversary of Memorial Gym in Rushville.
How about that?
A celebration and viewing of the movie Hoosiers at historic Memorial Gym. So they will have it at Memorial Gym, and it features Angelo Pizzo, the writer and producer of Hoosiers, and Rudy. Also, the 53-54 Rushville Regional Champions and State Champions Milan Indians, featuring Bobby Plump and Ray Kraft and other members of the Milan team. Members of the Hoosiers movie cast. And this is all Saturday, April the 9th. So that's coming up this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend. So, yes, this week. This
doors will open at 5 for the VIP fan zone, and from 5:15 to 6:30, a VIP event in Memorial Gym. Fan zone in the auxiliary gym for VIP and general tickets. 6:30 to 7, the Memorial Gym open for general admission tickets, only $5, and the fan zone program and movie. And at 7, Hoosiers program, speeches, discussion with the legends. And approximately 7:45, the movie will start. It takes an hour and 55 minutes. Ticket prices, Fran, just $5 for general admission and $20 for VIP, and tickets are available at City Hall in Rushville. So
how about that? Sounds like a great event coming up.
Great event coming up this Saturday.
Right.
So I would encourage people, if you're a fan of movies and a fan of the basketball lore of Indiana, this would be a great thing to go to.
Yes, it would be. I think it bring back a lot of memories for folks. So hopefully it will turn out real well. At the bottom, does it tell them what they're going to use the building for?
No, it really doesn't. But I had heard, see, their city hall now is in an old home, and the mayor's office is in a very small building. So
I've never been there. Where is it? In the residential district?
No, it's just east of downtown, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Kind of over by the Elks, if you know where the Elks is.
Yes.
City Hall. The mayor's office is behind CVS on the 44 going towards Shelbyville.
Okay, in that area. Okay. All right. Yeah, well, I wish them the best of luck, and hope that they can, as you pointed out, restore an older building, because that's what downtown's consist of.
Yeah, it sure is, and it's a good idea. Many years ago, when we moved our city hall out of an old building into a newer building that's pretty old, but it served us well.
Absolutely.
And hopefully they can do that over in Rush County also, and be right on Main Street. And I think that's probably important for the folks over there.
Right.
But,
yes.
As I said, you get to go to one of the historic gyms in Indiana, 90-year anniversary of Memorial Gym, and it's hard to believe that the movie Hoosiers has been out 30 years.
It is, isn't it? It really is. It's a good movie. I saw it. I think they kind of
Well, they had to embellish things a little bit.
Right, they had to plot it up a little bit. But I'm glad I saw it and everything, and it's good. I mean, but it's not quite Milan and.
No, Muncie Central and Milan. But there'll never be another game like that. They've taken all that away. That there's no opportunity to do that anymore. But certainly.
That was
certainly fun to think about.
That was a stall game.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I thought.
yeah.
They held the ball.
Bobby Plump stood out there and held the ball and ran the clock down.
And Muncie Central led him.
Yeah. Rules were a little different then too.
Yes. Right. And I'm not sure back then if they even had the shot clock in college, did they?
No, they didn't. The shot clock in college is. Well, I don't know how old it is, but I remember when they didn't have one, and certainly the three-point line, and there's just so many different things that they've changed over the years.
A third official.
Alternating possession instead of
jump ball and a tie-up, right? Yes. I don't know if any changes are coming down the pike or not. Have you heard of any?
No, there's been talk of adding a shot clock. I don't know if I like that in high school or not.
The coaches don't.
No,
I brought it up a couple times, and they are definitely not in favor of that.
The other thing, I think, the other big change has been the free throws. Used to be five fouls and you were in the bonus. Now it's 7, and with 10's a double bonus. And they did that in an effort to try to speed the game up, but it hasn't sped it up any.
No.
And why do you want to speed up something that's that good anyway?
They keep tinkering with it, so we'll see what the next thing is.
What they want to do.
No, the shot clock, of course, would take away the Spartans, the way they control the ball. I mean, if they had to shoot in 30 seconds, that would take away Kerry Brown's philosophy of.
Well, you look, Muncie Central would have beaten Milan. Milan probably would have never gotten that far. Connersville Spartans in '83 would have probably not won a state championship had had a shot clock been in effect. It just wasn't their style of play to run up and down the floor.
I've heard the baseball people that control those kind of things say that really it would be a burden on the schools because they'd have to, of course, first of all, get the equipment and then hire people to operate it. And they said it would just be another expense for the high schools that they couldn't handle.
When there's declining attendance now, so to have to pay for.
So I don't think we'll ever see a shot clock in high school from the way the feelings are right now, even nationally and of course locally. I've talked to both Michael and to Kerry, and they were definitely against it. They didn't want any part of that.
I think it works in college. Of course, they've shortened that up a little bit this year. But I think for the most part it works well in college. But yeah, I wouldn't be in favor at all for high school.
You going to pick a winner tonight in the NC2A?
I'm going to go with Villanova.
I think I will too. I should go with Sal, with the other team, so one of us would be a winner. But we'll let it go at that. Thanks, Sam.
Thank you, Fran.
And thanks for watching the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3, everybody.